Just a year after first entering the foldable phone game, Google has already made a substantial upgrade. This version has so many changes over the original, it should probably have a different name, and maybe that's why Google's calling it the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. In this review, I'm going to get hands-on with the 9 Pro Fold ahead of its public launch, and I'll take a look at what's new, improved, and different from the original version. I'll test out its special features myself, and then I'll wrap things up with the overall pros and cons and let you know if I think this might be a good folding smartphone for you. I'd also like to say thank you to Google for gifting this phone to me so I could review it hands-on. While the company has provided it to me, they haven't asked for or received permission to contribute to, change, or influence this review in any way. These thoughts are all my own. Let's take a closer look. With a 6.3-inch external display and 8-inch internal dual screen, this is bigger all the way around than the original. Even so, it's a smidge thinner and lighter than the original, and the 9 Pro here is on the bottom. The screen is also much brighter compared to the previous generation, which is no longer available. When you take a look at these two phones side by side, the improvements are obvious. Google adjusted the layout, making the 9 Fold taller and giving it a more unusual square shape when fully open. The other significant upgrade is one you can't see as clearly, and that's that the 9 Pro Fold is Google's first folding phone packed with all of its new Gemini AI features. Now, in a nutshell, Gemini gives you AI-powered assistance over a bunch of different tasks and even a live assistant that you can talk to in conversation form. I'm not going to get too deep into the inner workings of Gemini AI on Pixel in this video. The Gemini app is on the phone, and if you do want to go deeper, you can check out my Google Pixel 9 review or my video that explains all about Gemini and its ChatGPT-like cousin, Gemini Live. Those videos are here on the channel, linked up in the description, and they'll be ready for you to play if you stick around until the end. Let's dive into the hardware and design of this new model, and then I'll lay out some of the new software toys, including Add Me, which lets you insert yourself into photos, Made You Look, which can help you take better photos of babies, Dual Screen Preview, which shows the person you're photographing what their picture looks like, and Tabletop Photo Mode and Tabletop Video Player. The outer screen is a full-size phone screen, meaning you can do a lot with it before you even open it up. The hinge mechanism is upgraded. In the old one, it created kind of a bridge between the two halves, but here it's practically seamless. Now, the crease is still noticeable, but it seems perhaps less so than the original, possibly because the phone actually opens and sits much flatter. There's a large protruding camera array on the back of the phone, which means when it's folded closed and sitting on its back, it does lean at a very tiny angle, yet Google made sure it sits flat and stable. Despite those minor annoyances, I'd still give the overall design an 8 or a 9 out of 10 because this type of technology still absolutely impresses me, and because it really seems like Google's design team has taken so much care with every aspect of the phone. Let's talk about the user experience here. Using this phone does take some getting used to for those of us who have been using smaller, standard, single-screen devices, but I will say as someone whose eyesight is not the best, the ability to have a bigger screen instantly at hand when I need one is a huge plus. Some of the motions on the phone can be a bit awkward to get used to just because of the size, but I think I can get used to this with time. Pixel Fold here also comes with fingerprint unlock, and the fingerprint sensor is embedded into the power button. This actually opens the phone screen really fast, and it's quite convenient. Face unlock, which I also enabled, is even quicker. Like before, you can also use the taskbar to switch between your apps or drag a compatible app into split screen mode so you can multitask with two apps side by side. When in split screen, you can drag and drop files across different apps like Google Photos to Messages or Slides. Plus, Google made the taskbar dynamic, meaning it's going to disappear when you're done using it, so it doesn't needlessly take up screen real estate. When it comes to the overall user experience here, it's hard to find things to complain about. The things I would consider griping about are really just gripes because I'm not used to using them on such a large and versatile device. If some of the hand motions are awkward, it's because I've never made them before. The battery is actually a smidge smaller than its predecessor. This one clocks in at 4,650 250 milliamp hours, which may be a potential concern given the larger and brighter displays. True battery performance can really only accurately be assessed through real-world usage, and I've only had this phone for about 5 days before its public launch. I used the phone intermittently during my testing, so I was able to get a couple of days out of a charge, but I have read some reports from others about their battery testing and saying it seems to last a little longer than the original. All of this, of course, depends on what you're doing with the phone and for how long. Some of us are apprehensive about folding phones and their potential longevity. While I haven't had this phone long enough to be able to judge whether or not it's going to be able to withstand years of opening and closing, I would definitely be interested in your thoughts and previous experiences. Post what you know in the comments here on the channel. Good news for 9 Pro Fold owners is that protective cases are available that protect not just the back, but the front screen too. Pixel 9 Pro Fold holds its IPX8 rating for water resistance, meaning it's basically waterproof but not dirt or dust proof. Turning to photography, making judgments on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold's camera should really come down to the quality of photos we can take. Now, if you want the specs, Google has made only minor tweaks to the triple lens rear camera system, but in almost all cases, it sized things down, likely to create that thinner and lighter overall form factor. There's a 48 megapixel main sensor, which is actually down from 50, and a 10.5 megapixel ultra-wide lens with macro down again from 12 megapixels, and there's a 20 times super res zoom. The front-facing camera has a 10 megapixel lens, again down from 10.8 megapixels. So are you going to actually notice these tiny nips out of the camera lenses? Probably not. Google Pixel phones have always had among the best cameras in the industry, and in my opinion, even making a few nips and tucks to what's delivered here still puts it above competition like the iPhone. Of course, this phone can now also take advantage of many of the AI photo and editing tools that now come bundled onto all of the new Pixel phones. Shooting photos with the Pro 9 Fold open to its tablet configuration makes it super easy to frame shots perfectly. You get an eye full and you can really capture exactly the photos you want because you can see them better. I like the way the video interface has evolved. When you're holding the phone upright, it gives you a standard vertical video window, but if you turn it sideways, it gives you a properly cropped horizontal aspect ratio, so you're getting more of a true view and resolution. In the original Fold, everything seemed to default to kind of a square video crop. I wanted to test out the phone's prowess as well as its low light capabilities, so we took it to downtown Calgary and got some fun shots. Then we headed to the darkest bar we know of to put the 9 Fold up against the iPhone 15 in terms of photo comparisons. The iPhone photos looked a bit flatter while the Fold had more depth, but not always. The 9 Pro Fold was also able to get great low-light video. In reality, this room is almost blackout dark, but you can see here the Fold finds a lot of light. A neat feature that's bound to be a hit with new parents is something called Made You Look. This tool lets you play an animated cartoon on the outward-facing screen to capture the attention of little ones. Also kind of helpful for pets. Between the bright colors, the animation, and the sound effects, it's a good way to coax a smile out of a reluctant subject. Another helpful photography trick is dual screen preview. This allows you to show what you're seeing in the viewfinder on the outward-facing screen too, so your subject will know exactly what you're capturing. Rear camera selfie lets you take a selfie with the higher resolution forward-facing camera. It does this by switching the selfie view to the outer screen and letting you still frame yourself while keeping access to all the camera controls. Tabletop view also lets you fold the Pixel 9 Pro Fold in half to essentially prop it up on a table or surface to more easily take a photo or video hands-free. This came in very handy when I wanted to make a video at my dog training class. I took a look at Add Me in my full review of the Google Pixel 9 phone. This is a cool feature, but one that still requires some practice to get good at. It's kind of neat how it works. Essentially, you'll want to take a photo that's a bit wider than you might otherwise to allow room for you to insert yourself. Then you'll switch photographers and be prompted to take another photo with the first snap overlaid on the screen so you can place yourself in the right spot. The camera software will pull those two images together and create a seamless photo. And since you're taking them at the same time, the light should look natural and the photo should be seamless. But this kind of felt like a work in progress. It took me and husband Roger several attempts to figure out the interface, and even then we just had some odd-looking results and plenty of closed eyes. So while I like this feature, I think it might take us all some practice to perfect it. Pixel 9 Fold runs Android 14 out of the box. Google's also been working continuously on optimizing particularly the Google-based apps for foldable displays, collaborating with developers to ensure the apps are making the most of that larger screen real estate.
Overall, this is a really fun phone that is legitimately a major upgrade over its predecessor, and I don't have any hesitation when I say if you have the ability to trade up from the original Fold to the new one, you absolutely should do it. That it doubles as both a regular-sized smartphone and a substantially bigger tablet in one device may justify its heftier price tag. The Google Pixel Fold sells for about $17.99 US, which is the same price as the original, so hallelujah for that. This phone is now also available in Canada too, priced at $23.99 Canadian. At this price point, it competes with other premium foldable smartphones on the market, but there's no denying it's an investment. Since it is a hefty investment, let's go over the pros and the cons carefully so you can evaluate whether this is going to be the right device for you.
On the pro side, I think the screens are beautiful and sharp, and the enhanced brightness is absolutely noticeable, making them way easier to read in bright light. And with adaptive brightness, the phone can adjust all on its own to different conditions too. It actually feels surprisingly durable and solidly built for something that needs so much flexibility and movement. It takes great photos, and it's an extremely versatile device, and I'm glad to see there are many apps that have been optimized for use on the larger screen. Plus, several of the new Pixel exclusive features like Made You Look, dual screen preview, and rear camera selfie are legitimately very useful toys.
When it comes to the downsides, you've already heard the big one, and that's the price tag. But for shoppers who might be inclined to pick up both a new smartphone and a new tablet, bundling them together and getting just one device may actually be the more economical choice. Also, I can't speak about the longevity of this device just yet or how it's going to fare after years of use.
The only other thing I'll point out is it can be a challenge to use with just one hand, difficult to close, almost impossible to open.
In short, though, I quite enjoyed my time with the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and I think Google heard concerns about the first generation and fixed pretty much all of them this time around. I can definitely recommend it for you, and Google dropped a whole boatload of new products this year, and if you want to check out some of the other new toys in the Pixel ecosystem, I have those reviews right now.